Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Mike.
Well, how did I get to be first on the list?
I guess because you're
Last one here.
You're in focus. And Nick is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. This is an early morning. This is early morning.
Yeah.
But we adjust.
The show must go on.
The what?
The show must go on.
The show must go on. And life goes on. It's like...
No, that's debatable. But yeah.
Spence is out of town, but he said that he may join us with his laptop. So we'll see. So what's happening, guys?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot at all. I had a conversation with Ron.
And for anyone who doesn't know, tell us who Ron is.
Ron is my system administrator. And we had to talk a lot this week because of some problems that we had. But then, after we relax and everything is okay, Ron is telling me, something really weird is going on with cell phones. I said, what? He said, a few weeks ago, we were sitting around the table and we were talking about, oh shoot, I can't remember what they were talking about. But anyway, some hardware. And he always has his cell phone with him. And he said, a couple of days later on his screen, when he's surfing, there were the ads about that. And he said, I never searched for it. His son was asking him about this, and he was answering question, but that was it. He said ads started popping up. And a week later, he was talking on the phone with somebody about some hardware. And I think he said the same day when he was surfing somewhere, bam, ads about that particular piece of hardware came up. And he said, and I never searched. It was just a by the way kind of a discussion. So I said, well, do you have an Echo? And he said, no, that's why I'm not going to have one because they're listening on you. And you can't discount this one twice. And I said, are you sure Joseph didn't come in your room and use your computer to search? Something. Because I don't see that Google or whoever is listening on everybody's phone to see what they're talking about in order to pop ads. I mean, those ads come when you search. They're cookies, and they show because yeah, you were looking for that. You were going to say, Mike?
I wasn't saying a thing.
So who knows?
It's the Russians, Amnon,
it's
and
the
they
Russians.
don't speak English.
Absolutely.
What difference does it matter?
Yep, that's right. It's the Russians. It's got to be the Russians.
I don't know how many times it takes to get this through. It's the Russians. I mean, this gets old. There's so much nonsense floating around anymore. It's just hard to not laugh in people's faces. I mean, look, I heard something last night. The government listening in on everything. The good news is they're government employees. They're not doing crap. Even if it's their job to listen in, they're not doing anything.
At this point, what difference does it even make?
Yeah, I mean, the government has all of your insurance information. They have all of your health information. They have all of your financial information. What is it you're trying to protect and from whom?
Yeah. And there sure are enough of them to actually listen on everybody.
They're not going to look. You can't even get them to listen to what they're supposed to listen to. Half of them aren't even at work half the day.
Well,
I can't get any video to come up. There was one. There's one. I just found one. SM. What's SM?
SM.
Channel 3.
Oh, stream me. Stream that me. Oh, you mean on? Really? I don't understand.
I mean, we have operatives deep within the government. We know we're for of what we speak.
Yeah, it's the Russians, isn't it, Mike? I'm just fixing Facebook. That's why Facebook didn't come up, because I did not have a chance to encode it yet.
You need to get up earlier.
Yeah, well, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't do it before we start the show.
Tish wants to know, Nick, how's security going at your apartment?
Oh, good. The camera successfully worked. It gave me an alert in the middle of the day, which was good.
YouTube works.
Dean wanted to know if Amnon forgot to spring forward. He forgets a lot, but springing is not one of them.
Oh, last night he had his clock switch over at about 9 o'clock. He was already
about
an hour
4
ahead.
o'clock. Yeah,
he did it at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
There you go.
I don't know why he didn't do it last week.
Okay, Mike.
That's pretty good, actually.
I actually enjoyed saying it.
I'm glad Mike said he cannot get any video, because I also forgot.
All right, so I click on channel 1, MX, whatever that is.
Yeah.
This stream is for mature audiences only.
That's their policy. I had to do that.
Nothing mature about this.
I know. This is just something.
Then I click on it. An error occurred while playing the stream. Try refreshing your browser. And it has the snow in the background. So, and I'm using IE on this one.
That's weird, because I click on MX and it comes up. And YouTube.
On YouTube. Your browser does not currently recognize any of the video formats.
Well, you're using IE.
Yeah.
It does all kind of weird things, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. SM is also up. Yep. And Twitch is up. And Facebook is up. And ULive is...
My Twitch says offline.
Mine came up.
Facebook unavailable. The video can't be embedded.
Nick, I mean, is anybody else having this kind of problem?
ULive is blank gray. I can hear my voice coming back through Amnon's speakers.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I can get it on SM, whatever that is. That's fine.
That's weird. And YouTube's supposed to work on everything.
See, Merle says his all works fine. He has those government drivers that allow it to penetrate any sort of protocol. And see, when normal people have trouble, he just clicks on it and he's in.
Yeah, he's got special people there that let him in. He knows the bouncer. I sure hope that she's kidding when she says might snow tonight or tomorrow.
She didn't kid.
I did not hear anything about that.
A little off her rocker with Q, but other than that, she's pretty straightforward. All these conspiracy crap going on. Oh yeah, it's getting ready to happen. The natives are restless. When's it going to be? It's tomorrow afternoon. Okay, what happened? Trump had a speech. Wow, thanks for that warning. I'm glad we were in the bunker during that one.
So,
hello.
Let's
go. Nothing. I just got back. I was listening to your conversation. All the channels load fine for me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be IE.
And Vivaldi won't even open in a second monitor. I have to put it on the main monitor to click on anything. So I deleted it. Firefox and Chrome work fine.
So Android users don't appear to be switching to the iPhone like they used to. According to a new study from Consumer Intelligence Research Partners, Android users have higher loyalty than iOS users do.
That's a lie.
Wait, say that again.
They said that Android users have higher loyalty than iOS users do.
I actually might agree with that because they have to put up with all the BS of Android. That actually might be true.
They found that Android brand loyalty has been remaining steadily high since early 2016 and remains at the highest level ever seen.
Well, I mean, honestly,
go ahead.
When I was on Android, it was a real pain to have to continue to use it. Everything didn't work all the time. It was a real struggle to continue to use it. So you have to have some level of loyalty to continue to use it. You've got to put up with a lot of nonsense that I would built into the OS.
I would also say that a lot of it probably has to do with the price of the iPhones. Somebody gets the Android either free or whatever through their carrier and they have it and it works, and now they need to spend a lot more for an iPhone. You think about it. But it's interesting, Android loyalty. So,
as an iPhone user, I don't say they have to do a whole lot to win me over every time. I mean, the phone itself works pretty well. It's pricey, but so is a top tier Android phone. They're not. I wouldn't say I'm loyal to iOS. It's just I'm going to spend $1,000. I'd rather spend $1,000 and not deal with any nonsense.
How much is that S9 now? It's about like $900.
Yeah, probably $800 or $900,
yeah.
Similar to the iPhone. I mean,
yeah,
they're all the top tiers are very similar in price.
Yep.
So it comes down to a features or performance or whatever kind of thing.
If you if you're like me and you use it just as a phone, and really that's all I'm using it for, then anything works. But the other day, the guys asked me to join a Skype call and show something. What was it? In whatever in the studio with the phone, and I did. And within 15, 20 seconds, the thing was hot. I mean, really hot. So yeah, it's an old phone, and Galaxy S3. But it does, I mean, I put it in my pocket, I go out, the battery lasts 4 hours, and it's fine. And when the battery goes bad, it's another $6, and I buy a new battery. So you just snap it in. So I like that.
There you go.
Well, so robots. He was supposed to revolutionize a California fast food kitchen, churning out 150 burgers per hour without requiring a paycheck or benefits. But after a single day of working as a cook at Cali Burger, location in Pasadena this week, Flippy, the burger flipping robot, has stopped flipping. In some ways, Flippy was a victim of his own success. Inundated with customers eager to see the machine in action, Cali Group, which runs the fast food chain, quickly realized the robot couldn't keep up with the demand. They decided instead to train the restaurant staff to work more efficiently alongside Flippy. Temporarily decommissioned patrons accounted a sign Thursday noting that Flippy would be cooking soon. Mostly it's the timing, the chief technology officer for Cali Group told the paper. When you're in the back working with people, you talk to each other. With Flippy, you kind of need to work around his schedule, choreographing the movement of what you do, when and how you do it. And it's true. I mean, if you work with a robot, I mean, they don't notice you. You see the guys behind moving around each other. You can't do that with a robot. But, yeah, that's interesting. The thing that grabbed me here on the article, really, when I was reading it, is that it was supposed to churning 150 burgers per hour without requiring a paycheck or benefits. Now, you tell me that robot, that the owners did not get a maintenance agreement from somewhere that if it stops working, if it screws up, that a crew will come to fix it. That's the same as having benefits.
You get a Mac version because they just work.
So yeah, Flippy is not. Now, if they had, I would think that if they had 5 robots behind the counter flipping burgers, everything would be okay. But when you have one and then the rest is people.
But see, the big problem here is, and it's the issue that, and the automation is not the word I'm looking for. I guess technically it is. It's the issue that the automation with robots have. There's an infinite limit. If the burger at max can flip 100, what did it say, 150, 170 an hour?
Yeah.
So if that's its limit, that's its limit. If you're working at a burger place and you've got 3 cooks on it, it's not enough. You bring 2 more in. Call 2 more and say, hey, get in here. We're paying extra because it's a holiday or whatever. Get in here. But these machines have got their theoretical limit, and that is all.
What do you think would happen if you went to a burger joint and they have 4 flippers, cook, whatever you want to call them, behind the counter?
Physical people?
Physical people.
Yeah.
And it's a busy place, and there is one really good-looking girl there. And everybody wants her to do their burger. It's going to be the same thing. She's not going to be able to keep up with the demand.
Oh, it's a little sexist, don't you think?
Well, yeah, it may be sexist, but I mean, it's what do you call it when it's about a robot? I mean, if everybody wanted it to serve.
I always make sure I have good-looking men flip my burgers.
It's just that's why they have 4 people. You can't come and say, "Oh no, I want this one. I want that one."
I think you're kind of, when I think of a place that could use something like that, I think of kind of like someplace like Five Guys.
Yeah.
You ever go in there? They're typically incredibly busy.
Nope.
And the kitchen is built right into the front of the restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't know about the robots yet. I don't think they're sophisticated enough.
Well, it's a what do you call it? It's a business decision, and it's also kind of like a fad thing. You know, I mean, it's not a fad. What do you call it? Like when, oh, we're special. We have that. So you figure that you're going to get people to come in. But it's a business decision. If you don't have to pay them, you make more money as the owner of the establishment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's why they would do it, and whether we like it or not, it's going to happen. I mean, you used to go to a car wash, and there will be 4 people jumping around the car and wiping and cleaning and washing and all that, and then they started getting those automatic ones that you just drive through, and it's a machine.
I went into McDonald's last week with their new kiosks and $15 per hour eliminators. They had one person standing there showing people how to use them. And if you want to pay cash, you went up to the cash register and stood in line to give them cash.
Pretty convenient.
Yep. Service still sucked.
Oh, I agree. The service did still suck. But if you're paying with a debit card or a credit card at the thing, I mean, if you know how to use the machine already, you don't have to talk to anybody at all. Then your food just pops out on the counter.
They've got an app that it would be interesting to see how well the app works.
Now, when I say complicated order, I'm not. Did you have any special instructions for your meal? Like,
well, let me confess to their credit, because when I dog on people, I'm not just trying to be like Nick. I'm just I'm trying to be honest and truthful and helpful. I mean, that's who I am. I'm helpful. But I went in the first time I went in there. They remodeled the one next to my house. I went in there to order, and what I wanted was not on there. And so when I went back in, I guess a month later, I went back in and I walked straight up to the counter. Can I help you? Like, I'm get away from that counter. Yeah, the one I want's not on there. Are you sure? She said, what are you looking for? And I told her. She said, oh, it's on here. Went over and looked at it, and they had gone from about 4 items to about 10 items on that same menu. So I said, okay, there it is. So we ordered it there, and she said, how are you going to pay? I said, cash. She said, okay. So she hit all the buttons and handed it to me, and I walked over to the cash register and paid. But yeah, I really don't mind using the things. It is an erosion of customer service. If you want to do something a little different, it's you have to step out of the routine, and that gets them all upset. But eventually it'll work out. And for example, the case in point is the only way you can make an order I shouldn't admit to going there, is Sheets. Sheets has a made to order food counter, which depending on what you order can be pretty good. I mean,
what is Sheets? I've seen that before.
SHEETZ.
Yeah, I've seen them. What are they?
Super convenience stores, gas stations.
Oh yeah. Are they red? Are they red?
Orange and yellow.
Orange and yellow. Okay.
And they have a made to order food bar. It's interesting because some of the things in there that you order are dirt cheap, and some of the other stuff is way overpriced. If you go order a ham, lettuce, and tomato wrap, it's about $5, and it's only got just a tiny bit of ham on it. But if you go in and get 2 hot dogs, they're a little smaller hot dogs, but they're 2 for $1. And a full-size drink with refills is like 83 cents or 49 cents if you got their card and all. So if you're just on the road and you want to grab something, they're not bad for fast junk food. But having said that, the only way you can order there is through a kiosk. I don't think they've ever taken orders for food, and people do it. They walk in, people who eat there regularly, they've got more kiosks in there than they had in the McDonald's. You walk into the kiosk, you see people who are normally there. They walk in, boom, 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 gone.
Now, I'm going to make a statement, and
No,
I'd
you
like to get
can't make statements.
and I'd like to get your opinion on this, Mike. McDonald's.
I don't give opinions.
Okay, well, it's fine. Amnon.
All
right. If you've ever been to a McDonald's during lunch for, I don't know, between 11 and 2, it's kind of crazy. I would make the argument, based on some of my past McDonald's experiences, that the customer service there has been so awful because the people are just in such a bad mood and rude and just angry and I understand why, because they've got to deal with a bunch of idiots out of McDonald's at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday. I would almost make the argument that having people have less interaction with those people is maybe for the better for their image, because you go in there, it's not like Chick-fil-A. There's no have a blessed day. It's, what do you want? Okay, floor 22. Okay.
All ordered.
Hey, you can work there, Nick.
But I mean, seriously, it's like, you just walk up to the counter. They don't say anything to you. You just stare at them, and then, are you ready to take my order? Is there something going on? What's the deal? Like, the customer service there at some locations is so atrocious that I think not having to deal with them is probably better for McDonald's image than anything else.
There's probably a good topic here for someone to do a PhD thesis on it. But when fast food started, before your mom and dad even knew you, the fast food was a lot of people who were never expecting to make a bunch of money. It was a lot of high school students. It was a lot of even college students, retired people. These were people who weren't offended by the pay rate because they could come in and do mindless work, do a good job of it, and get their little paycheck and go home, and everything was happy. Everybody was happy. But things have changed over the years. I mean, instead of Nick working at McDonald's, he was sitting at home creating WordPress sites. And the opportunities, there are many more opportunities. I guess the really sharp people who want to do something much bigger than minimum wage, whether it's the internet, whether it's society in general, I don't know. They have more opportunities to make more money with their time. The people who, I guess the high school students, they're just not that many. And now there's a stigma associated with McDonald's. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, back in the old days, there was no stigma with it. Oh, where are you going? Well, I'm working at McDonald's. Cool. I like that place. Am I telling it right, Amnon?
What?
Am I telling it? Wake up.
I agree. I agree 100%. And
all I'm saying is, without even having thought about it till just now, there've been a lot of societal changes that have negatively impacted the entire fast food industry.
Yep. You're looked down upon. There's even the stigma with some retailers. You look at a store like Walmart. I mean, there's this weird stigma. I don't know what it is. I mean, I love shopping.
What it is, they don't pay anything compared to what you can get in other places. I mean, for example, if there's a restaurant here in town where my son-in-law worked, he could pull in $400 or $500 a night. Do that at McDonald's.
Well, but Mike, you have to remember one thing. People who want to go and work at McDonald's can get the job at McDonald's. A lot of them cannot go to that restaurant and get the job because they don't have the ability to do what he does.
I think that's a misconception.
Why do people go to McDonald's? Why?
No, hang on now. You asked the question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know the answer to it, because I'll tell you this. There are some very good people in fast food. If you don't believe it, you go over to Chick-fil-A. You look at the people working there, how polite they are, how courteous they are, how helpful they are, how fast they're hustling. They're making the same thing they'd make at McDonald's. So it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with fast food. Let me tell you something. If I needed a job and all I could do is fast food, this old fat boy would be in there flipping hamburgers.
Oh, I'm absolutely
holding my head high.
Yeah.
It's honest, ethical work. The fact that I could get more money for my time is certainly makes it incumbent upon me to get the best value I can for my amount of time. So having said that, But if that's all I could do, if I didn't have a car, couldn't drive, wasn't cost effective for me to take an Uber to where I was going to work, and I can walk to McDonald's, this old fat boy's on the road, patting Charlie.
It's just a matter of that if you're halfway decent, you can get a job at McDonald's. I think McDonald's was a way to get younger people into the workforce and give them like a experience about working, because they would go and work there in the summer. They would work there during breaks, and McDonald's would hire them for 2 weeks, and then they'll go, and it was fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with working at McDonald's. You should work at McDonald's if you can't work anywhere else. There's nothing wrong. Don't feel bad. But you're talking about somebody who's making $500 a night working at a restaurant. Not every McDonald's worker can do that. Yes, they probably could if they got trained, because he didn't start doing this. I mean, he was...
Actually, that's not quite true.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. I mean, his training period to get a handle on it wasn't 2 weeks on the job training.
Right. But I mean, he got hired to begin with.
Sure.
A lot of these people, I'm sure...
And they'd hire you tomorrow. That's how desperate they are.
Well, I mean, I know, you can do that. I mean, my daughter works in a restaurant.
I know she does.
And she's doing great. I mean, she bought a house, and she's paying all her bills, and
she's a smart lady.
And she's doing it. So I mean, she's making more money than I do.
I understand.
And that's
she's going
fine.
to school at the same time.
Yeah, and it's fine. But yet you see a lot of people working there, and I don't know if they work at Chick-fil-A because of the way that they are treated.
Oh, absolutely. It's a culture thing.
I mean, yeah,
absolutely a culture thing. Yeah, I went to Chick-fil-A with a coworker the other day. It was probably, I don't know, middle of the week, and ordered, sat down at a table. The gentleman brings the food over. Let me get you a refill. I didn't ask for a refill. What? Why? And it's just a culture thing. I mean, do you think somebody at McDonald's is going to ask me if I want a refill? It's just totally a culture thing.
It's all exemplified by what happened, what they did whenever the Chick-fil-A came under the owner of Chick-fil-A expressed his personal opinion, which by a lot of people's opinion, he's not entitled to do. But he expressed his personal opinion, so the wackos started protesting. They were doing protests, in-person protests, out in front of Chick-fil-A's. Mm-hmm. You know what the Chick-fil-A management was told to do and did?
I know.
They walked through the crowd handing out free lemonade.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
It's a culture thing. It's totally an attitude thing. You go, it's that's all it is. I mean, you can make the argument that Chick-fil-A's food is no better or worse than a McDonald's or a Bojangles.
And I would disagree with that.
I disagree with that too. But I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it's still fast food. It's the same thing. And it's one place at lunchtime you can't park a car. The other place you can walk right into.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't remember the last time I was at McDonald's. Must have been 20 years.
I mean, here's another place, for example. I really enjoy eating at Subway. Their people there are miserable. I mean, just absolutely miserable.
I don't know. I mean, when we go there, Spence and I go there at least once a week. Well, I mean, once a week. And the people are great. But maybe it's because and down here, most of them are from the Middle East, and I speak the language, and we always laugh, and and it's great going around. You don't see them kind of they're always smiling, and so I don't know if they're miserable. I don't know how much they get paid,
And I want to be careful with this because I can tell you firsthand, if I was working in that kind of food service, I would be a miserable POS. I would be absolute. And that's what it's tough, but I wouldn't put myself. I don't think I'd put myself in that situation. Now, if I had to, it would be a no-brainer. But most of these people don't have to, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
I may be talking off key now.
We may get to the point where all these restaurants have robots working for them there and making the sandwiches and all that. It'll be interesting.
McDonald's is starting with their kiosks. It's the step in the direction to push back against $20 an hour minimum wage and benefits for.
But few people really want to work there. They work there because they have to. Look, as much as I dog on fast food, and particularly McDonald's, they when there's still an echo. I don't know who's echoing, but we got to go through these systems at some point. But mute your microphone for a moment while I'm talking, Amnon.
I'll mute mine too.
But I am really, excuse me, throat screwing up, really impressed of people who will go to the trouble and working at McDonald's because, now unmute yours, Nick. Now, with just a tiny bit of effort, they could get the government to pay them the same amount of money to sit on their butts. The people working there don't exactly have to work there under today's government, but they're choosing to do so. And my hat is off to them. Went away with it when you muted Amnon. You must have your mix minus screwed up.
Or it might just be his speakers.
No, it's awful fast.
No, the speakers are hardly. I mean, I've got the
Minor LA is saying Harris Teeter's got subs at lunch for
$4.49.
Are they full size or 6-inch subs? I wonder. Subway's expensive, man. I'll tell you that.
It's nothing but bread.
I know, but a drink and chips at Subway is damn near $8.
When we go for the last 2 or 3 years, when we go there, what I have is a salad. I love their chopped salad.
I don't do salad.
Is it echoing now, Mike? Can you hear it?
I haven't heard it since you started talking.
Okay. Full size sub for $4.49. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Wow.
Yes, it's still echoing.
I'm gonna be going over to I'm gonna go over to Costco this afternoon and get my membership, Mike, so I can.
Okay.
Is there a place to sit there? I don't think so. Is there?
Sure.
Where Harris Teeter? I can just take it and bring it back to.
Oh, Harris Teeter? No, not. I mean, they could have. Their stores are turning into little cities.
Take it and bring it back.
Talk about those stores. I was reading, and somebody put in the Hangout sometime that Prime members now get a discount at Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
I told Kathy, and she said she asked at the store, and they said no.
It's brand new. They probably haven't communicated it adequately, but the reality is that if you do get a discount at Whole Foods, they're going to reduce it to just about 30% over retail.
I don't know. Their bananas again. She goes and gets bananas there.
Has anybody tried the Walmart pickup?
Which one?
I think Nick,
you can place your order online, drive into the parking lot, and they walk out with your groceries.
That's how I do my grocery shopping.
Does it take getting used to?
No. The only thing I do is I don't have them pick up any produce or meat or anything like that. So I'll set my pickup time to be like, for example, 2:30, and I'll go at 2:00 and get if I need any vegetables or anything like that, or chicken or beef, and I'll go grab all that, pay for it separately, and not because I did it once and the stuff was fine. It's just I don't know. I feel a little bit weird about somebody else.
They're on next door. They're talking about it because we're only less than a mile from a Walmart grocery store where they have it. People talking about their experiences. To a person, everyone who's posted has said they went ahead and tried produce and meats, and they said they've not been disappointed. There's a feeling that they're going to pick the nastiest, oldest lettuce that they have to get rid of it, but apparently they're on good behavior at the moment.
I did it once and the stuff was fine. I don't know. I was a little weirded out by it, so I just go 20 minutes early and get the stuff I need. Normally the produce is right in the front of the store, so I just mingle around in the front, right when you walk in the door, grab my stuff, self checkout, and then pull into the thing. It's very convenient.
I mean, Mike, you're talking about that there's a feeling that they will pick up the worst. I don't think they will pick up the worst, but I'm wondering, you go and you buy apples and you pick it up and you see,
I use Windows.
and you pick up and you choose them, and you pick up the ones that you like. I don't know that anybody. I mean, that's what I was going to say. Nick, did you ever find among the stuff that they bagged for you anything bad?
No, I didn't find anything bad. It was just I don't know. I just had a weird, and it was nothing more than, I guess, just paranoia. I guess it's just, I don't know. I just had a weird feeling about it. No, I got produce a couple times and I didn't have an issue. And then I was just like, okay, I'm just going to do this myself. No particular reason.
Yeah, but at that point, then why not? I mean, if you're going in for the produce, why don't you go in for everything?
Well, I mean, produce will take me 5 minutes to get. The whole grocery shopping thing will cost me, that'll take an hour and a half. And it's nice to do it online at home, especially if you're cooking off recipe. Very convenient to not have to circle through the aisles to figure out what the hell you need. Have you and Susan done it yet, Mike?
No.
Oh, it's awesome.
I know, but it's for us, it'll be a transition. We have to get used to the idea of going through and actually finding everything online, making sure we're getting the 13-ounce can, not the 10.5-ounce can, because that fits the recipe. And I mean, for me, it's a challenge because I don't do any of the cooking. Susan would be able to, no, that's the wrong can. Look at it. She'd be able to do it a lot easier than I would. But and then part of the time, and I started to say this jokingly, but in all sincerity, some people go to the grocery store to get out of the house.
Mm-hmm. I believe Kathy does that.
That's understandable.
No, but the thing is, what this is actually, they may do it in order to discourage you to go online. You go, now, Nick, what is the last canned stuff that you bought?
The last what?
Canned. In a can. What did you buy? For instance.
I bought baked beans.
Okay, baked beans in a can.
Yeah.
So now you know that that's what you're going to get. You're going and you buy it.
Yeah.
When you go to the store and you see it there, all the baked beans are kind of like on the same shelf.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, wait a second. Here's one that is on sale.
Yes.
And it's bigger. You don't see that. You lose that in the app.
Well, and I think that may be that is the trade-off. I think that's the trade-off on buying it online. You may not be getting the best price, but you don't have to spend an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
this is the concern that I have, because part of I grew up in the radio business. One of our best advertisers was a grocery store. We knew him very well. He was a family friend. We've spent hours and hours talking with him about things. He told us a lot of things. And in that, we learned that the grocery item is very much an impulse thing. When they get you in the store, they have these kiosks at the end of the aisles. They have the various signs, the tasting things. There are all sorts of gimmicks to get you to buy something. To me, whenever I say free pickup, I'd say, and I within the last 2 weeks, I look at this free pickup and I say, they're missing the impulse aspect of running their business. How are they going to compensate? Case in point. If you go into a grocery store, you will notice that milk and bread are at the farthest corner of the store.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they do that is they want you to walk past 15 other things that you need while you're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just smart. Nothing wrong with that. How do they get past that impulse aspect? I don't know the answer to that, but it's possible that by selecting it online, you get used to Delmonico French style cut green beans in the 14-ounce can. Click, you buy it. It's the one beside it was 40 cents cheaper, but so what? But actually think of another thing too. How many times have you looked at the Delmonico green beans, see the store brand sitting right beside it? You say, what the heck? I'm going to gamble. You try it and you like it as well as or better. I mean, you could still say, I'm going to try some store brands, but there's a personal aspect of shopping. I guess over time, these people don't normally do things that are as stupid as some other companies have done. They test these things to find out why. They obviously, or I guess the answer is that they quit reducing all and quit having as many sales. They just, here's the price, you want it, buy it. So if you search for green beans pop up and they'd say, oh, here's one that's on sale. They can still do sale things like a flyer.
So here is the Walmart grocery thing. So here's your search for green beans, Mike.
Okay.
And these are I mean, here are all your different options. I don't eat green beans, so I don't know what the gold standard is, but I mean, you
I
can
mean,
see your
look how many options there are.
yeah. I mean, you can get fresh
I
green
just want
beans,
a can of
canned.
green beans.
Well, it depends. Well, you can get a can. You want a 14 ounce? You got with mushrooms, with roasted garlic.
I don't want garlic.
So then you want just a regular can
Just
of green beans.
regular green beans.
All right, 54 cents it is.
Well, what if they're on sale at another brand?
Well, I mean, that's what this shows you. I mean, I don't know. I think this is. I think it's a generation thing too, because I find this to be much more convenient than shopping in an actual grocery store.
I'm not negative on it.
Oh, I know you're not, but I'm saying the personal aspect of grocery shopping has never. Well, and probably it's because I've never really. I haven't been grocery shopping for 40 years, like my parents have or whatever, or like you and Susan have. Or
all right, now you watch your mouth.
but in all seriousness, I've never experienced that personal aspect of shopping.
All right, here's another point. Scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right, so here are 4-packs.
Yeah.
That would normally be sitting on the shelf beside the singles, but here you got. I guess all I'm saying two things about this. A, you've got to adapt to the concept of scrolling past it on a web page and picking out the exact right one, number one. And number two, you've got to disconnect from the idea of doing the browsing in person. I mean, that's just an adaptation. That's not necessarily negative. I would argue that again, there are unintended consequences that who knows how this is going to look 5 years from now? Who knows what technology will be incorporated into these websites that actually help you to zero in on what you normally get. Case in point, and I'm sure this technology is already readily available. Case in point is that when you get to be as old as Amnon and I am, that you get kind of set in your ways. And if you like Delmonico French style cut green beans in the 16-ounce can with salt, that's what you want to buy. You don't want all these distractions and all these other brands. So the site remembers what you normally buy. And when you go in, the first thing you do is scan your list of normal items and you say 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these. And when you go pick it up, you know exactly what you have. That absolutely overcomes not only a problem with getting used to the website, but it absolutely saves you time, guarantees that you get the product you want, and ends up with I would say, a better shopping experience.
So, I mean, here's an example. I'm trying to make sure there's no personal information on this.
There's a social security number, but don't worry about it.
So, I mean, for example, here's an example of an order I did in October, and it just goes through and it just lists everything that I purchased, and it tells you that there's lower prices. It tells you they substitute stuff if they don't have it, or whatever it may be. So, yeah, no, it is convenient, and you can even reorder. I mean, I want to be careful because it does have my credit card on there, but you can reorder. Not that I don't know why you'd reorder the exact same set of groceries twice, but
well, because if you're in the restaurant business or if you're cooking some people have a menu, they cook the same thing every night of the week.
Yeah, and I believe, and there is this too. There's this heart so you can favorite something.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. That's the first time I've done that. I don't even. Oh, there it is, right up here, favorites. So I've got 3 things favorited actually.
Right, and so if you
actually these are favorited automatically because I've ordered them multiple times. That's interesting.
Yeah, and so if you don't like that particular pumpkin Pillsbury ready to bake pumpkin shaped,
it's out of stock. So good.
You just you just unfavorite it because you don't like it and you don't want to make a mistake of purchasing it again.
Now, I have not ordered. I have not ordered some of this stuff. I wonder how this stuff is on here.
Better be careful.
Interesting. So it looks like it favorites everything that you order. So this looks like an entire grocery shop. This looks like an entire shopping order.
Alan, this is Walmart.
I mean, but I think the difference is somebody like my parents or my grandparents. You get used to grocery shopping. It's like my father grocery shops every Sunday morning. It's just what he does. He gets up, he goes grocery shopping. People my age, I mean, I'm not in the routine. I'm not in the habit. So this is a very easy switch because I haven't been walking through like my father's been walking through the grocery store for 22 years or whatever, every week grocery shopping.
Right.
I haven't done that. I
Pull
mean,
it back up, Nick. Alan wants to know how much a 12-pack of Coke is.
Hold on a second here.
But
$4.34. Oh, that's Diet Coke.
That's what, 12 cans?
So here, when you search Coke, here are all your different options.
I mean, again, this is another you really have to search because these prices are all over the board.
Yeah, and I mean, you can the stuff that's on sale is rollback. It's the same things that pops up in the store. They do price match. Now, here's the other cool thing. This, in conjunction with their Savings Catcher app, which compares which compares your receipt to other local stores, I think it's a slam dunk.
Alan wants to know if we have to pay a deposit. We don't. There are some places in the U.S. that do. Andrew has to pay a deposit. All the communist states.
I used to have to pay a deposit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from a communist state.
That's a fact.
But having said that, I will tell you that I thought that and we talked about it here before, the happiest transition between technology and in-store purchasing that I experienced recently was at Sam's Club, where I griped about how they never have enough cash registers open. They have 24 cash registers and 2 of them open, 4 or 5 people deep. And I'm always the second or third one back. So they open a new register and everybody right behind me goes and gets in line and beats me. So I was whining about that one day. And the lady said, "Have you tried our new app?" "No, I haven't tried your new app." "Why would I try your new app?" "Well, because if you have an iPhone." "Yeah." "Well, you just scan the price and say check out, and it rings it up on your credit card or debit card, and you can go on out the door. You don't even have to go through the checkout." And I said, "You're lying." She said, "Nope, telling the truth." And I tried it. Works like a champ. Then the SOBs closed the damn store.
Oh, yeah, they did close the one near you. Oh, maybe people were stealing stuff through the mobile app.
I doubt it. You have to check out everything. I mean, at Lowe's, you can walk out with anything in the store and they won't say anything to you. There, they actually
hardware store or the food store?
Food store.
Yeah.
Hardware store.
Yeah.
They're told not to accost anyone. I suspect somebody got killed trying to stop a shoplifter.
Huh. Interesting.
Oh, well, that's just killed it. You can't buy wine that way. So that just killed the whole app.
You can't buy wine on the grocery thing?
Apparently not using the app.
Is she talking about Sam's Club or Walmart?
I think she's talking about Sam's Club.
Buy wine online on Walmart, Susan. What kind you want? Some Barefoot Moscato, $9.98.
Well, I think part of it is she doesn't want a public record of how much she drinks, so she'd just rather pay cash. That's another thing. Oh, hadn't thought about it. The Russians are going to be able to hack into these purchasing lists, and they're going to know exactly how many cans of green beans you buy.
They're going to see all my frozen meals because I'm lazy and don't want to cook.
There you go. And they're going to and sell that information to the insurance company. They're going to find out you're eating all that sodium. You're going to end up with arteriosclerosis. They're going to cancel your insurance, add to your life insurance price. See, Nick, you got to be careful doing this stuff.
But
man.
wait a second.
Playing with fire.
Wait, go back to that wine and stuff. I mean, if you want to buy, don't they card you?
They'll card you when you pick it up.
At 63 years old, not often.
No, but I mean, seriously,
no.
If you were to order this and come pick it up and you were my age, they would ask for your ID. I mean,
okay, so they would.
And you'd be stupid to order this and assume that they're not going to card you.
Okay. Yeah, because that's...
I'm curious. So let's add something to my cart. Does it give me some type of... Oh, I got to be careful. I don't want it to show checkout or something. I wonder what this does when I go to checkout. Let me stop this for a second.
All right, Nick. Now you won't be on.
Oh, actually, yeah, it needs to be $30 worth. So let me add like $70 worth of wine. Continue to check out. Okay, 3 to 4 p.m. free.
Alan, while you're looking, Alan was saying back to McDonald's, it drives me crazy when there are only one or two cashiers, a ton of people in line, and more workers in the back tripping over one another. With the new kiosks, they have one cash register.
Okay, so here you go. There's a checkbox on here, and I can't show because it shows my address and my.
Don't worry, and then Nick, you're out of focus. So
no, I mean I can't show it because I want to show this box, but I can't because it shows my debit card number. And
so you want me to put you online?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not sharing my screen. It says alcohol disclosure. By checking this box, I certify that I'm at least 21 years old and will not resell any alcohol I purchase.
Who thought about that?
I wonder. Government warning: according to the Surgeon General, women shall not drink during pregnancy. Consumption of alcohol impairs your ability to drive. At delivery or pickup, you must show a valid photo ID to provide and provide a signature confirming that you are 21 years of age or older, except forms ID, yada, 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 yada. And you may not order more than 20 gallons of alcohol.
Oh, no.
An order totaling 20 gallons of
alcohol. And the kid that brings that stuff out to your car will actually be assertive enough to make sure that you do that.
They don't have a choice. So the way that it works is they have a tablet where they do your whole checkout thing and you sign, obviously. It's like so
it takes forever to even pick up your stuff.
No, not at all. So what happens is they've got everything in these little they've got everything in these plastic containers and they wheel it out to your car. They load it into your car. They tell you about any substitutions or any changes. And then they have a little PDA thing and you just sign to confirm that you picked up the order. So at that point they'd ask for your ID.
Okay. So they can't check you out unless you did it.
No, I mean that they're doing that just to cover their own behinds. Because if you don't sign for it and then go, oh, I never picked up my groceries. I mean, you could run into an issue.
They come to the back of your car. Person comes up and shows you. This is almost like banking with a personal banker.
And I'll tell you, the people are typically in a very good mood, which I was surprised with. I would have assumed that the people would be kind of miserable doing that, but it's a couple of the people that I've talked to, they seem to really enjoy it. Now, I mean, I help them load it into they will load it all into your car. I mean, I get out and help them.
Mm-hmm. Did you tip them?
They can't accept tips. I tried. Which I think is unfortunate. I understand why they do it, but I think it's unfortunate that I can't tip them. I don't mind tipping for service, but now you can.
Well, but they don't want people not to do it because the cost is now plus tip.
Yeah. So, but you can. I've tried. You cannot tip, which is lame.
Well, I can at this point I can say that I've been involved in technology for over half of my life. Only in the last year did I warm up to go through self-checking lines.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, it's you go through the thing, you let the cashier pick up your stuff and scan it and all,
it takes longer.
Yeah, until you run into trouble and then you have to wait for somebody to come over.
Well, I ran into trouble the other day at the store, and I was very upset with my experience at Harris Teeter. Actually, the first time I shopped there, I had to pick up K-cups for the office, and the chip reader wasn't working. And I asked the lady to come over, and she's like, "Oh, try it again." And I tried it again. She's like, "Oh, well, maybe it just doesn't work." I said, "Okay, well then you can go put this back on the shelf," and I just left. Great customer service.
That's what she told you?
That's what she told me. I said, okay. I handed it to her. I said, here you go. You can find a home for this. And I just left. I was.
She probably threw it in the trash can.
Yeah. So I got to call over the manager then to ask them why the hell they're training their employees to say, oh, I'm not sure why that's not working.
I've been through self-checkout a few times.
Oh, I love self-checkout. It's the first time I've ever had a problem.
It depends. It depends on what it is. If it's just a few small items, but you don't have to stand on your head to get the scanner to work and all that, it's not so bad. But, and particularly if there's a long line, what I don't like is when they're forcing you to do it. I mean, look, especially a grocery store, a lot of old people there who are never going to adapt to the technology. The fact that they're making them optional, I'm 100% in favor of that. I like it. If you go to our Harris Teeter down here, they never have enough checkouts or cashiers. Every time I've been in there, you have to wait. I think that's really bad customer service. Get more cashiers or get more kiosks, whatever the case may be. But having said that, these lines at the self checkouts are fine. These people are very happy to do it. They're comfortable with it. And again, I guess that as I'm sitting there brainstorming this, as we're brainstorming it and I'm thinking about it, if you go to that Harris Teeter 2 or 3 times a week and you're used to it, you can probably fly through there and get used to it. But I'm not a regular grocery shopper. It's different for me, and I don't retain the process, having gone through the process 3 months ago, like I would for someone who was just in there yesterday and day before getting stuff. It's just an experience thing.
The Walmart near here where I shop, which is, I mean, literally, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say I can spit off my balcony and into the parking lot. It's that close. They've got a whole bunch of self checkouts. They must have 6 or 8 of those little self checkout things, and they've got cool stuff. Like when you pick up produce, which if I need to stop in and grab something, you lay it down on the scale and it measures it automatically and calculates the price. They're pretty damn advanced. Walmart's, I don't know about anybody else's,
but they're getting better. But when they first started, those things made you feel like a criminal trying to steal stuff out of the store. Yeah. Oh no, you have to put it back in the bag. Pick it up. Nope, don't do that. But put it back.
Yeah, well, that's still, some of that scale stuff is still a little weird on when you go to bag it. But when there was the chance of that hurricane down here a couple months ago, I went to the store. I just was doing regular grocery shopping. I wasn't going to stock up for the impending danger. And the line was so long that I self-checked out like $95 worth of groceries through one of those little things because the line was snaking through the store. And I mean, it took me probably 20 minutes, but still, it worked.
Nick,
Susan and I went to
wait a second, Mike, just a second. Nick, go ahead and refresh while Mike is talking because you're out of sync.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, we went to Walmart store yesterday, day before, I don't know when it was, and checkout was just very slow. I mean, there were only 2 registers open. A lady in front of us had her buggy piled to the top. She was striking up a conversation. One thing led to that. Well, y'all want to get ahead of us? Well, we had more than just 1 or 2 items, so we declined because it really wasn't that big of a difference. But finally, there was a cashier next to ours that was open, but the lady didn't have the light turned on. I walked over there. Normally, when that happens, we pull out of line. We're next in line or second in line. Pull out of there, go to the one without the light. I'm sorry, this one's closed. And I just tell them, no, it's open. You can close after you get us done because we've already lost our place in line. Sometimes they'll do it. But so anyway, we got over there, and sure enough, they ran into a problem. Had to get a store manager to come get the key to turn the register to override, just little crap like that.
Yeah.
That also presents issues whenever you're trying to do the self-checkout. If the price is wrong at the manual checkout, it's going to be wrong at the self-checkout. And you're going to have to get somebody over there with a key to override and to argue with you and say, maybe you picked up the wrong one. And heck, half the time you pick up the wrong one because you pick it up, it said 59 cents for a can of beans. You pick it up and you go back and look and it's sitting right on the line. It was actually for the product next to it. So it's an imperfect process, and over time it will improve, I guess.
Well, the real cool thing is Amazon's new stores that they've got out in Seattle, where you literally just put it in a bag and walk out the door, and it automatically calculates everything. And
yeah, I trust that.
I've watched a couple of videos of people intentionally screwing around with it, trying to make it charge them for things that they didn't purchase, like pick something up, put it down in the wrong place, pick it back up, kind of thing. And it nailed their order. I mean, obviously it's an early version of it, but realistically, that's what the future is going to be.
How are they doing it with RFID?
It's weird. I don't know how I haven't watched the video in a while, but I believe they've got cameras on all of there's a limited supply of things. It's not like a Walmart. I mean, it's a pretty small store, but probably the size of a large gas station or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think they've just got cameras on the shelves, and I think they've got their own labels, and they just keep track of it. I don't know how they're doing it, especially when specifically picked something up, placed it on a shelf to look for something else, and then picked it back up from a different location, and it still had the correct product, which I thought was pretty cool.
Alan says you might have trouble returning some things in a physical location of Walmart. the online item isn't in stock locally. Actually, I've ordered some things from Walmart online that they didn't carry in the store. When I took them back over there, they accepted them.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the Walmart grocery is you select which store you're purchasing from. This is the grocery, not the other stuff. You select what store you're purchasing from, and they've got a probably a limited, but they've got a stock thing, so it'll tell you if something is out of stock. And then typically when you order, if you order enough, like $80-$90 worth of groceries, $70 worth of groceries, they'll have to substitute a thing or two, and they'll send you an alert and say, oh, we didn't have, you wanted a pack of 4 crackers, we don't have that, so we gave you 2 packs of 2 at the same price, or something like that.
And again, that'll help their inventory control.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the more computerized they are, the more they can control their inventory. They can cycle out the things with a date code on it. It's going to be pretty exciting going forward, I believe. But back about 50 years ago, I used to go to Hialeah, Florida every summer as a teenager. My uncle and aunt lived down there. They were just fantastic people. Just absolutely loved going down there every year. But at one point down there, they had a concept I've always thought about. They built what looked like barns. The store was a barn, but it actually had a driveway right through the middle of the barn. As you drove through the barn, you drive through it like it's kind of like, what is this chain, this hamburger chain here?
Cookout?
Yes, kind of like that, except it was right through the barn, through the middle of it. And all you could buy was milk and bread.
That's all you need when there's a storm.
Yeah, it didn't day in, day out. Cars were lined up to the street.
Gotta have the bread and milk.
I guess that the pricing became it was not beneficial to do it. And of course, you know what the problem with those is that if no one's in line, they drive through, then somebody rides through with a gun, one of these self-shooting guns, kills people.
Yeah, the self-shooting guns at the self-serving bread and milk stand.
Yeah.
919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. So you want something else to discuss?
Sure.
I was never.
Well, let me say one thing. Hold your thought, Amnon.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to finish up saying one thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know how everybody else here feels, because I'm not a regular grocery shopper. But as far as I'm concerned, Harris Teeter is the Mercedes of grocery stores.
Oh, yeah.
They are the cleanest, the best lit. They've got the largest amount of inventory. That may not be the right brands and all that. Their house brands seem to be good. They are more expensive, but it's one of those things where you may want to pay a little more to get what it is that you want. But that's just my opinion. If there's a better one down in Florida, Publix used to be that way. Now that Publix is up here, it's really interesting. I saw somebody post on social media a week or two ago, said, every time I go in Publix, I have this Florida experience. And I don't know what that means or what's different about it, but honest to God, we would go down to Florida in the year and walk into a Publix supermarket down there. It had its own smell about it. It's almost as if they had a spray cans of this particular smell. A blind person could be taken into a Publix supermarket in Florida in the day and find out and immediately know where they were. And it was great. I haven't even been to one up here. Gary says that they're not bad. Throw them out, but that's okay.
We went to one to just compare, and we're not impressed at all.
It's 50 years ago. Anyway, you were going to say something else. Go ahead.
So here's something else. I never used an ATM, and I don't think I ever will.
I have zero issues with ATMs.
No. What's wrong with ATMs? Because they run Windows XP. You should love them.
Never used one.
Well,
hopefully I'll never need to.
If you got thousands of dollars in cash laying around, you don't ever need one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Have you, when you get checks in, do you write up a check deposit, take them to the bank?
Yep.
I do it on my phone. I haven't been to the bank in 2 years.
I love it. I still use my New York bank. I don't have a reason to switch yet. I mean, realistically, I mobile deposit my checks. Mm-hmm. I can transfer money. The ATMs that are inside of the Targets are linked, and there's no fee associated with them. So I haven't needed to, but if I needed to pull out cash, I can drive to Target, which is right next door to the Walmart, and get as much cash as I want, no fee.
Well, let me tell you this. On the electronic deposit system, unfortunately, it's Wells Fargo, but everybody else has it too. When the check is accepted, they email me an image of the check.
Yeah, my bank doesn't do that. I wish they did.
If you rely on the online storage of the bank, then after a while, those images disappear. And all you got's the check number. You can you remember who you wrote the check to?
Well, it's a little bit more than just that. I mean, I get a statement every month. And I'm talking about the business. I'm not talking about personal. Personal, I have no idea.
I do too, but it doesn't tell me who the check was written to. It doesn't have a copy of it.
Mine at the back of the statement has like 10 checks on each page. I'm
gonna look and see, but I don't think mine does.
That they have they take pictures of it and they send it over. And actually, only in the last 4 months or whatever, I decided, okay, yeah, let's save them the postage for that, and I started downloading it and printing it.
Go Trump. I just saw my brokerage account. Okay.
So it's fine.
So if I go here to my business account, click on business checking, I go to activity and click on mobile deposit, details, view details.
Click on your statement.
This service allows you to view details and images, if available, of returned and deposited items for at least 30 days after they post to your business account. This service costs $3 per monthly billing cycle.
Oh, geez. They charge you for that?
Yes.
I would have them mail it.
I would decline. They won't mail it. They don't provide that information.
Yeah, I mean, no. First Citizen does.
I get it in email, and I save every one of my emails. I have a Gmail account where I forward safety copies of every email I receive, and I never even look at it.
What happened if you look at your statement?
I'm looking at it,
and it's in the back. I mean, you do have images, but they keep it only for 30 days.
Have a paper statement.
I mean, when I started using the online, I mean, I could go back to like 90. I mean, 80 some, 87, 88.
They do 18 months at Wells Fargo.
Hmm.
It's terrible. Because I often get extensions, do my taxes in October. I go in to finish doing my taxes, and I cannot even get if I haven't downloaded my check statements, they're not available.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, especially since it costs them nothing to maintain this stuff.
Right.
I don't know where view statements. Let's see what that says. Statements and disclosure. Okay, here's the PDF. So I'm going to look at my February 28th statement. And on there, it has just a list of things and no images at all. It does not tell me, for example, I made a deposit on February 2nd. That's all it says is mobile deposit, reference number, deposits, credits.
You see, now, I don't know why I didn't think about it. I don't need to know. I don't need to see the check to know who I wrote it for.
No, it's for deposits.
Oh.
Did someone pay you? I can look back and I can find an image of the check in my email.
Okay, no, I'm talking about checks that I wrote. I mean, the deposits, I have a deposit ticket.
So we want to know if anybody here has used or has any opinion of First Citizens. We just opened
I am. That's who we've been with since 81.
We just, for undisclosed reasons, opened an account over there. I've heard good things about them. We're thinking about moving most or all of our accounts over there. We've got accounts at every bank in town, I think.
Real quick, odd question for you, Mike. I was just asked this privately. What is the difference between the UCA 222 and the UCA 202?
I've never figured it out. The 222 is red, and what difference it makes, I have no idea. As far as I know, you can use them interchangeably for what we do.
I thought, okay.
Yes, Susan. So we like it.
Now, this is bizarre. I just looked at statements and disclosures. Oh, I see what it is. The statements go back to 2011. The statements go back, but the ability to download the activity only goes 18 months.
And what do you see on the statement?
Is the same. The statement looks today the same way it did in 2011.
Yeah, I mean, what does it have in it online? Does it have the checks you wrote?
It's a PDF. It's a PDF. It's exactly the same thing I would get in the mail. It shows withdrawals, fees,
images.
debit,
I'm talking about the images.
Bank draft.
Do they show you the checks that you deposited?
No.
Okay. That's what you're looking for, right?
This is interesting. Back in 2011, they actually show me a scan of the check I wrote. I never write checks, and that's so bizarre that this check would come up. 2011. This guy. Oh, this is bizarre. This guy, he did some legal research for me back in 2011. I found out about him through a bulletin board. And I'm not going to go any deeper, but I reopened that bulletin board last week or two for the first time in 3 years. He was all over it, and I just quit going back because he and his wife have taken over the board. It's all about them.
All right. Now I heard myself coming back.
Oh, yeah, I hear that too.
Check. Yep.
All right, I'm going to mute my microphone and see, because when I was listening to it a while ago, I muted my microphone. When Nick was talking, I still heard it.
Check.
Going through. Well, just
hold on. Oh, actually, it's gone now. Very odd.
It could be some stuff associated with the Hangout.
But it is. It's totally the Hangout because it just comes and goes randomly.
So let's switch. Mike, are you done with this subject?
I don't know. I don't remember what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
So a new study shows that people are the prime culprits when it comes to the propagation of misinformation through social networks. No. Not bots. Tweets containing falsehoods reach 1,500 people on Twitter 6 times faster than truthful tweets. And this is from Science Magazine report. That people are doing it. And
wait, you said Science Magazine?
It's a Science Magazine, yeah.
Okay, wonder how their reports on global warming look.
I mean, I believe that. I don't think bots do that.
Well, I don't believe it, even if it's true.
No, I do believe it because it makes perfect sense.
See, there you go. That's how you give these liberals a foothold. They throw out something that seems to make sense, and you suckers buy into it.
Well, even take away from this study, it's. I mean,
how do you know it's not 5 times?
I'm not. Hold on a second. Now, I'm not debating. I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing the number. I'm arguing the concept, which is totally accurate. The more that the information spreads, the more it gets twisted. I mean, telephone is the best example of it. I have 5 people stand in line and whisper into the next person's ear. By the time you get to the end, it's not even going to be the same damn sentence. It's definitely. I mean, totally. You look at social media. The problem is you've got people like Bernie Sanders who tweet out something that's vastly inaccurate. It gets retweeted by 160,000 people. Then he retweets a correction. It's retweeted by 10,000. I mean, there's your spread of fake news.
Anybody who pays attention to a Bernie Sanders tweet deserves what they get.
I'm totally agree with you, but it's retweeted to 160,000 people. Or excuse me, it's retweeted by 160,000 people. Who knows how many millions it's reaching? And then the correction doesn't get seen by anybody.
But newspapers did that. They would post on the front page that Gary is a bad person, and they realized they got the wrong Gary, and they put a retraction on page 9G.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And this is especially appropriate today. It seems like we're seeing a sudden outbreak of common sense from one of the most unlikely places. Florida might become the 3rd state after Hawaii and Arizona to be done with the hassle of changing their clocks twice a year. Yesterday, last week, the Senate overwhelmingly passed the Sunshine Protection Act in under 1 minute with only 2 dissenters. The House had already passed it 103 to 11 last month. Now it's up to Governor Rick Scott. If Scott passes it, however, it still has to go through Congress before Florida has daylight savings time all year long. So I wasn't aware. Nick was saying it yesterday, and Mike was telling me this morning that, yeah, it's also up to the federal government to allow this.
Yep, which they most likely won't.
Well, it's the Sunshine Preservation Act. They're trying to save sunshine.
So I mean, do either of you know why Arizona and Hawaii have it and it was okay? I mean, what's special about them?
Well, Hawaii is their own thing. So
yeah,
pretty much
that's fine. But
I don't know
what about
Arizona? That's a good question.
They just, I don't know. I don't know that Florida needs federal permission to do it.
Oh, they say
about it.
Why?
Because the federal government controls time zones.
The only thing I can figure is that maybe a statute was passed after Arizona chose to do it, and they've grandfathered them.
Yeah, I was reading an article. I don't remember where it was, and the third or fourth paragraph said, but the time zones are federally regulated by some spice. I don't remember who, and it had to go through them.
Well, the question I have though is the proposal to stay on saving time year round or to stay on standard time year round?
It was standard time year round.
Yeah. I mean, it wears me out. Everybody likes it when you get your hour back, but
yeah,
even then,
but not today.
Screws up your sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. The problem is Florida doesn't have the authority to adopt. Oh, I'm sorry. So they're adopting daylight saving year round. So the federal government controls the nation's time zones as well as the start and end dates of daylight saving time. States can choose to exempt themselves from daylight savings.
Oh,
that makes sense.
But nothing in federal law allows them to exempt themselves. Oh, okay. So they can exempt themselves from
daylight savings
time, but they can't exempt themselves from standard time. Right. So Arizona and Hawaii are in standard time. Florida wants to be in saving.
And as much as I dislike government stuff, I sort of agree with that because you're not going to know what time it is anywhere in the country if you've got to remember saving time here, Eastern time here, non-Eastern time here. I mean,
no, realistically, they can't just have states you can't have every other state on the Eastern Seaboard popping up to different times. That would just screw everything up.
I don't object to daylight saving time. I object to the change. So pick one and let's stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, Florida wouldn't see if they would have just said the reason they're choosing to go with saving time is because it's
daylight saving. Yeah. Daylight saving.
Yeah, but you think they want the other way around? Wouldn't they want it to be light that later in the day in Florida? People hanging out at the beaches. I mean, that would actually kind of make more sense.
Well, the reason that it was sold to us is that schools have to operate their heating systems during the day, and if we go to the school later in the day, then they don't have to run the heating systems as early in the day. Oh, some nonsense. It's just government.
There are good arguments on both sides. But that argument that when people were talking about that it was set up back when, the people had to go and work in the fields and kids had to go there before school and, that's...
Well, I'll tell you this, when you have small children, daylight saving time is a curse.
Because?
Because when it gets dark, they start thinking about going to bed.
Oh.
It takes them a while to slow down to 100 miles an hour and getting ready for bed. Then whenever they
get I thought we just went into daylight savings time. Now
we did. We are right.
Yeah,
now.
Which means that the day is longer, not shorter.
Correct. No, but
the daylight
going to get dark at 8:30 instead of 7:30
right.
eventually. All right. So if these kids who don't give a crap about a clock are used to going 250 miles an hour till it gets dark, and then they start slowing down for bed. That just took an hour away from the parents.
Okay.
Which helps reduce the population, but that's another
matter. Michael always had that last
comment
there.
There are always unintended consequences that government never pays attention to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And now, John, the trans time zone. That's what we really need to be talking about. John, you are a genius, my man.
Constitutional right.
All about the trans time zones. And I'm going to go hold up a sign in front of the White House talking about how I need trans time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? Today, you know what? It's 10:37 Eastern as we're doing this live, but I
No, it's not.
feel
Eastern Daylight.
Eastern Daylight. I'm sorry, but I feel like it's 8:37. So is that okay?
Yeah, you're identifying with 8:37.
Exactly. I wish I was still in bed. 8:37. I wouldn't be up yet for the
So
program.
so wait a second. You know, you
I'm
just
gonna go
brought
back to
something.
bed. Goodbye.
You just brought something up. When I tweet before shows,
Yeah.
I always tweet time for XYZ.
Yep.
Mondays, I mean Sundays, 9 to 11 a.m. EST. Oh,
Oh.
Eastern. I say
ET.
Eastern.
That's what you
That's
should
right.
do,
I
ET.
say Eastern.
Yeah, then you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. That's right. Never mind.
Yep.
All right. So
I've got something.
Oh, go ahead.
I've got this video game story as with this Florida shooting, as with all these mass shootings, the first culprit tends to be video games for God knows whatever reason.
Well, they cause all the problems.
Yes, of course. You know, a couple of losers like me sitting home playing video games all weekend is the
it's all your fault.
You ought to be at McDonald's working.
Yeah, I'm going to go out and kill a whole bunch of people.
Right, with one of those self-shooting guns.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I'm going to do now. So the argument is that the video games make people violent, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But the concept and it's just a smear. It's a smear campaign against the video game industry and people that enjoy playing them. And I've made the argument for years, and I'll continue to make that if you're screwed up and you're a violent person and you're an evil person, playing a game where you kill people constantly probably isn't going to help. But I don't think it's I don't believe it's the start of the problem. So
Hollywood movies are their big problem.
Well, even that, I still think you have to be a little screwed up already for something like that to make an impact. Nevertheless, this new study is out, and it shows that 80% of mass shooters showed no interest in video games.
See, fake news.
So I mean, and again, if I was a screwed up person that wanted to kill, that was my intention, was to kill people. I'm certain without a doubt that a violent video game or violent TV show or violent movie would only exemplify that.
These weirdos who are killing people are using these self-shooting guns. They don't have those in video games.
Yes.
You have to pull the trigger in a video game.
So I think it's interesting that and it tends to be a Republican thing, and I don't know why. I remember.
I'll answer that honestly.
Because it's always Fox News is always running this stupid narrative.
Because the Republicans are Luddites.
Are what?
Luddites.
Okay, explain.
They don't believe in, understand, or appreciate technology. It's one of them video games on the computer. I seen my grandson playing a video game. That must be what caused Sandy Hook.
Yeah, it's always the Fox News narrative, which really always used to piss.
Put these morons in these online award shows for TVs talking about anti-gun, and these rascals are sitting there with all these armed guards around them in their private jet, saving energy, and in movies where they're blowing people up with bazookas.
Sounds like you listened to my program last Sunday.
No, I never listened to your show.
Oh,
but Nick, I don't know who would want to just smear the video game industry.
It's a huge industry.
Yeah, but I think it's an easy target for some people to just say, "Oh, that's what it is," because it cannot talk back to you. Oh, that's people always look for somebody to blame when it comes to that, and it's easy to blame. Oh yeah, that's the video, of course.
It is, but I think it's getting into the point now where there's everybody's playing some type of video game.
Yeah.
For one way, I'd say that most people in I don't know what the age range would be, have either played or play even not even something like an Xbox or a computer, but on their phone or tablet or whatever it may be. I think the argument is getting harder and harder to make that, video games are killing people in schools.
It may be harder to make, but it's very, very easy to make to blame. Maybe it's if you have to stand there and say why, and you can't come up with a good reason, but you can always say it.
Yeah, I mean, here's a quote. Here's an article from this post. It says other critics point to the appearance of specific weapons in video games, like a Remington assault rifle pictured in the popular game Call of Duty. It doesn't say which version. There's been actually 11 Call of Duties now, so I'm not sure which one they're referencing. Images of the rifle come from a lawsuit by Sandy Hook parents who are suing Remington, saying that the company bears responsibility for the killing of 26 kids at the Sandy Hook shooting in 2012. So there's a couple of issues with that, but I mean, that's just pure insanity.
We need to ban self-shooting rifles
and video games and evil people.
Self-shooting video games.
Yep.
And controllers. I mean, that's talk about the real Mike. If you just ban controllers, how can I shoot?
Because if it's self-shooting, you don't need a controller.
I mean, look. I mean, I can pull the trigger right now. So it's
don't put that on the air, Nick. You'll get us banned.
I'm shooting with my controller.
Gosh, now we're toast. Oh well.
All right.
It was good. It was a good run.
Next. This did not happen to me. I don't know anybody that it happened to, but they sure talked about it a lot this week. Over the past few days, users with Alexa-enabled devices have reported hearing strange, unprompted laughter.
Yep.
They said Amazon responded to the creepiness in the statement to The Verge, saying, "We are aware of this and working to fix it." As noted in media, just a second, let me just get this out of the way here. A caller will be right with you. We're aware of this and working to fix it. As noted in media report and trending Twitter moments, Alexa laughs without being prompted to wake. People on Twitter and Reddit reported that they thought it was an actual person laughing near them, which can be scary when you're home alone. Many responded to the crackling sound by unplugging the Alexa-enabled devices.
This is nothing more than Amazon showing how much power control they really have.
It's just the Russians have hacked into these things, and they're laughing at some of the stupid things Americans are saying.
Yeah, all right, exactly.
This is Jeff Bezos showing that he is in total control, and you can't do a damn thing about it.
Let's see. Who do we have online?
This is Gene.
Hey, Gene.
How you doing?
Can you turn them up a little bit?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
What's up?
You remember last week I told you I was frustrated with one machine not being able to finish a Windows 10 update for over 24 hours. And we chatted, and Mike suggested, and I think you suggested that Mike had told you about an update generator called WSUS.
Yeah, offline.
I don't know how to.
Yeah, offline. Yeah.
Okay. So what I did is, taking that advice, I installed the offline WCS update generator, and I ran it before I decided to try and do the update again. And it ran for quite a while. And the update generator, I watched what it was doing, and it's interesting. It goes through every single update and stabilizes it or fixes it. Or, I don't know what it does, but it does a lot of work. And then when it was finished, I scheduled the update for 11 o'clock that night, because I was doing it in the evening. And sure enough, when I woke up in the morning, the update was done and everything was fine. And so an update that I tried for 2 weeks to try and finish, never finished. When I ran it after the WSUS update generator, it went right through just as nice as pie. The only thing I found that I had to work on was that I got a message from Carbonite. I use Carbonite online backup. And Carbonite said that it had difficulty backing up some files. So what I did is I ran CCleaner after getting that message. And CCleaner cleaned about 188.4 megabytes of files. But the registry, when I went to check the registry, scan it, the registry was just loaded with issues from the update. So I went and I fixed all those issues, and now everything is okay. So I just wanted to thank Mike for that.
Now, Gene, there's one thing that when you do it this way, you may not remember that you have to do. After an update, a lot of things didn't change yet that were supposed to change. A lot of temporary files are still there because they have to be taken care of when you shut down. If you don't shut down and restart your machine, things will stay hung sort of like in limbo. You should always.
Right, and I did that.
Okay.
I did that.
All right. That's fine then. Okay.
Yep. So thanks for that. That worked out real good, Mike.
There you go.
It works.
Okay.
Absolutely, it works.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that it works. And
I imagine it's a good idea to run it before every time before you do any updates in the future, right?
No. You don't understand. That program does the updates. That program is an offline updater. You do not need to do Windows updates after that. I mean, you should, because it's better to let Windows do the Windows updates. But when you run this program on a brand new installation of Windows 7, 8, 10, it will do all the updates for you. That's what's taking so long. And if you watch it, you'll see that in the beginning, it's downloading a boatload of files. And then you can actually disconnect it from the internet and let it do its thing to update Windows. It's an updater. It's not a fixer of anything.
It's actually doing more than that, Amnon.
Yeah, no, I understand, but it's
actually what you do. But I'm going to tell everybody else who does not as smart as you are that what it's actually doing first is going through and cataloging all of the updates that are necessary. That takes a long time. Then it downloads those, which based on the servers can take a long time. Then it installs those updates with often requiring multiple reboots, and that takes a long time.
Yeah. But you don't, it's not that you have to run it before you're going to do an update in order to prepare Windows for something. No.
And in my experience,
I never realized that because I had the update scheduled for nighttime and I went to bed, so I didn't know what happened. All I know is when I rebooted the system in the morning, everything came back up fine.
And in my experience, Gene, going forward, you probably will not have to run it again.
Right.
Now that you have fixed Windows Update, you can still rely on Windows Update at this point.
Okay, interesting. We'll see. Okay.
Let us know. Keep us posted.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care, Gene.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's any way you look at it, it's a lot shorter than letting Windows do the updates anyway, because it downloads it a lot faster somehow.
Brand is saying that he noticed that if you have Microsoft malicious software removal tool and it is part of a Windows update, it will do a scan before it downloads.
And it'll take a long time. Yep.
And there's a lot of stuff going on. My experience has been over the last year is don't worry about how long it takes, but if it takes over a day, you've got to restart the computer. And I knock on wood, I've never had forcing a restart to have a negative effect yet. But don't be surprised if a single update requires 3 reboots. Because there's stuff going on. They're changing things. They're doing things differently that are not necessarily obvious to us as users. And absolutely reboot your computer. If you leave your computer on all the time, you absolutely need to reboot it at least once a week. I used to leave mine on all the time till I had one get hacked. Now I turn them off at night. And so I'm up to date on reboots and things like that. But I still use Windows 7 and Windows 10. Windows 10, of course, is a lot worse than Windows 7.
And Gene, as far as Carbonite telling you that it could not back up certain files, you don't need to go and do anything except press the button that says try again or retry. It happens here also. And I just click the button, says retry or try again, and everything goes through. So don't worry about that. Here's an interesting. Really, I mean, I don't know anybody. Again, I don't know anybody that uses it. Security researcher Will Straffach took a look at Onavo Protect, a newly released VPN service from Facebook. He said, I found that Onavo Protect uses a packet tunnel provider app extension, which should consistently run for as long as the VPN is connected. in order to periodically send the following data to Facebook as a user goes about their day. When user mobile device screen is turned on and turned off, these are the things that it's sending. Total daily Wi-Fi data usage in bytes, even when VPN is turned off. Total daily cellular data usage in bytes, even when VPN is turned off. Periodic beacon containing an uptime to indicate how long the VPN has been connected. Why does Facebook need that information, and why do they do it after you're done using Facebook, just because your VPN is still connected, unless you remember to go and disconnect the VPN? Is very interesting.
I don't realize Facebook had purchased Onavero Protect.
Well, apparently.
I used to use that in high school. That was a great free VPN app.
So, yeah.
Well, and speaking of VPNs, there's a very popular company, and I almost made a grave mistake in purchasing their software, called Tunnel Bear, which was a new up and coming VPN. They did a lot of advertising on YouTube channels that I watched, and they'd run 2 years for $99 or something like that. Pretty good deal. Came out this week that they are being acquired by McAfee, so you can run from the plague from Tunnel Bear now that they are owned by McAfee. Not the VPN. Not a VPN I'd want to be using now.
Interesting.
Real shame.
And YouTube last year stopped hiring white and Asian males for technical position because they didn't help the world's largest video site achieve its goals for improving diversity, according to a civil lawsuit filed by former employee. The lawsuit filed by Arnie Wilberg, a white male who worked at Google for 9 years, including 4 years as a recruiter at YouTube, alleges the division of Alphabet's Google set quotas for hiring minorities. Last spring, YouTube recruiters were allegedly instructed to cancel interviews with applicants who weren't female, Black, or Hispanic, and to purge entirely the applications of people who didn't fit those categories.
I'm confused.
What?
On an employment application, you can't ask what race they are.
I guess somehow they marked.
Well, how is that somehow?
I have no idea.
Oh, they're keeping track of it, and I mean, it's talking about discrimination. They should be sued out of existence.
Well, I mean, they are being sued, but yeah, I know what Mike is saying. You're right. You
can't ask them.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, the whoever is right.
Them.
Whoever is right. Whoever is sitting there and talking with them. You know, if they are being interviewed, can just put a B for Black on it somewhere and put. I mean, just
how do you do that through the internet?
True. How do you do it on the internet? That's good.
And that's 95% of all job applications now through scanners. The person's race shouldn't matter whether they're qualified for the job, which I agree with.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when we were at CPAC, I actually had the opportunity to chat with the Google Memo Kit a little bit.
Oh, go ahead and drop a couple of names here.
What?
No, go ahead.
I don't remember what his name was. But
it was Google.
Yeah, it was the Google Memo Kit. I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
It's okay.
And listening to his story, Chad interviewed him, listening to his story, and then having a chance to kind of just chat. I talked to him for maybe 2 or 3 minutes after the fact. I mean, it's just nuts what was going on there. And he's not even conservative. And he's like, this is just simple stuff. He's like, I guess I classify myself as more liberal, but I couldn't sit here and watch. This company was literally saying, if you are white, we will not employ you. And if you're a woman, we're going to employ you. We're going to do everything in our power to promote you faster than anybody else. I mean, he's like, this is just nuts. That's crazy.
Well,
that's a very good point, Mike, though.
Yeah.
You're right. There's no
running out of time.
You can't put
there's a service out there provided by the federal government and the Russians that you might want to sign up for. It's free, because it's from the government, and it's from the United States Postal Service. It's called Informed Delivery. Informed Delivery. It's only available for residential addresses, but you go in, you put in your email address, your residential address. Every morning about 7:00, they will send you an email with a picture of every piece of first-class mail you're going to receive that day. informeddelivery.usps.com.
Yeah. Until they don't deliver.
Well, at least you know whether the letter's there. I mean, if you're at 7:00 in the morning, you know whether you're going to get the check in the mail.
No.
There are days when you wait around for the mail for something to before you go out and do it, and they get it at 7:00 in the morning. You look at that email. Two benefits: you look at the email, you know whether to hang around. Number two, you save that email, and you have a permanent record, a picture of every piece of first-class mail you've received.
I don't want to know what's coming. I would just.
Well, then you don't look at the email.
Yeah, I know, but I would just like for them to come on a steady schedule.
This government, Amnon.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to come one day at 9:30 in the morning, and the next day at 5:30. I mean, come on, don't you have a route?
Yeah, but if you want to see what's funny, it's watch them on Saturday delivery. They're done by 11:00.
Well, yeah, they should. They should be done. I don't know. It's just it's annoying when, especially when you pay bills. Say, okay, yeah, I'm going to pay bills, and here is 11:30. You go out to the mailbox to put the checks in, the envelopes. They're already been there.
Yeah. Well, you should be changing over to electronic checks anyway, but that's another matter. John says that he's been using the service for a while. It's kind of fun, but they don't include all mail, even all first-class mail. From what I can tell, I mean, he's paying better attention to it than I am, but from what I can tell, they do include all first-class mail. Obviously it's government. They're going to be very inconsistent and totally unreliable. But having said that, I would say that ours has been fairly beneficial in that there are some, I have some letters that I send for legal matters that are very time and date sensitive. As a result, I need to have a permanent record if or when I've received those. And when I get those, so far, it has been 100% accurate on the stuff that matters. What's interesting is that either they're picking up some third-class mail, or a lot of the third-class mail is being sent as first-class mail, because there are a lot of the flyers and junk mail in there that are getting scanned in, which if they're first class, that's going to be, they have to include it, I'm assuming. But look, it's free. And let me say it honestly, you're paying for it. If you want it, get it. If you don't.
Yeah. And you may not even, I wouldn't trust them.
Well, you don't have to trust them. It's free.
No. I won't. Let's put it this way. I won't trust the information and say, okay, yeah, it's coming.
Arnie says he puts a Wi-Fi camera in the mailbox so he gets an alert when he opens the box. Why not just wire it up to an electrical circuit and you'll hear him yell when he touches it?
A friend of mine did something.
That's a joke.
No. A friend of mine did something that actually works perfectly. He took a long, like about 2 foot long spring, a tightly wound spring, and he nailed it to the back of the mailbox, so it's sticking out like an antenna, and he had a red flag on it, so it's sticking way up. And what he does is, after he picks up his mail, he bends it forward and he sticks the flag in the door. So when the mailman comes, they open the door, it goes boing, and it gets up, and he can look from his window and see, oh yeah, they've been here. Low tech.
Yeah, till that spring flops around, hits somebody in the eye, and now he's got a lawsuit. And that's strict liability for putting an inherently dangerous instrumentality on his property.
Well, I just attempted to sign up for this, and they cannot verify my address, so I can't sign up for it.
You cannot verify your address?
Nope.
What you need to do, then it may not be available for apartments, but what you
I have to go to a post office in person and do it, which I'm not going to. So
yeah, you should. But what you should do is, while you're at it, is go to USPS.com like you're going to ship a package, like you want to give your parents are going to print postage from the website. Put your address in there, and what it will do is say, I don't recognize this address. This is the closest one I can find. Is this it? And it'll give you the exact USPS way that it is in the system. It's probably just a database mismatch.
Well, what it's trying to do is it's trying to verify my address based on some questions. So it asked me, what of these streets have you lived on? None of them. Which of these counties have you lived in? None of them. Which one of these? It's asked me another thing about streets. None of them. And which one of these townships have you lived in? None of them. So I don't know who the hell thinks.
Well, that's probably for the person who lived there before you did.
Probably, but I mean, so.
But when you next time you go to do it, because I mean it's kind of neat. And for example, when you're at the office, if you're looking for like mom and dad are sending money or something, you'd tell you whether you drive home to get it out of your mailbox. Doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah, that's funny because I checked my mail for the first time in about 3 weeks. There was nothing in there besides those stupid sale things, the packets that come with all the coupons and stuff. There wasn't any, and the mail for the person that used to live here.
You can be at Harris Teeter at 7:00 on Saturday morning to use those and get double coupons.
What I don't know. What is that?
That was a comment in chat earlier today.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, John, the thing, it was asking me what it obviously it couldn't pick up that I'd moved across the country. So all of the streets and stuff were based on places down here in Wilmington. And I've only lived one place in Wilmington. And none of those options, even the county, that's what county I lived in. New Hanover wasn't even an option. So I'll try again.
Well,
thanks to the federal government.
Anything else, anybody? It's that time of day. Nothing? All right. So thanks, Mike. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
That was good. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 7, Nick is hosting Against the Norm on Wilmington Big Talker 106.7, and you can listen on TuneIn. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.